The curriculum redesign, we see students need to have a clear picture of themselves as learners and how the performance will be evaluated at the end of a learning cycle. We notice that students don't always understand how they're doing or how to move forward. And so we wondered, how can we create clarity for students in the assessment and evaluation of the learning standards? And we're here to share 3 examples of how we helped improve the clarity.
Example 1. Here's an example of a learning map. This is a learning map for Foundations of Math and Pre-Calc 10. Learning maps are written in student-friendly language and based on the core competencies and content for a unit. They are given at the beginning of a learning cycle, and students are using them for goal setting and also to track their progress. The learning map is a powerful way for students to connect evidence as proof of learning. It is also an effective way of using metacognition.
This one will work. Our next step was to develop student-friendly assessment tools. What we wanted to do was take the assessment or the rubrics that usually teachers are using all the time and put it in language that the students can use so that they can learn from them and self-assess as well. The aspects on the left-hand side, those are, in these new rubrics, they come from the social studies curricular competencies. They are the first bullet, the social studies inquiry process that talks about asking questions, gathering information, interpreting and analyzing the data and communicating their findings, and then incorporating the different historical thinking concepts throughout. The emphasis on process allows criteria to be repeated throughout the learning cycle, and it also allows the teacher to kind of mark, or the students themselves, to mark growth throughout the year. The criteria that's here was co-constructed with learners by examining a range of sample projects and assignments, and then the language in the rubric was drawn from those conversations with students.
So I wanted to create a standard-based grading tool that could help students self-assess by using the Senior Secondary Conversion Guide paired with students' individual learning task scores. Students use the logic rule to determine where they fall in terms of percent. With this process, students become more accountable and actively participate in assessment. I have students do this before student-led conferences about halfway through the school year, and then again before finals.
Next. And so when we check in with students at the end, we heard that they appreciate having rubrics in the learning maps, relationships with teachers affected their ability to take risks, exemplars and samples of work help them understand what's expected. They appreciated knowing when tasks were formative versus summative. And so our advice, I'm going to keep going, is create opportunities for teachers to collaborate, involve learners in the learning and assessment process, and take time to reflect on how the growth mindset can affect your learning. Thank you.